Good morning, guys. And it's not morning. Well, it's 11:10. It's about to be morning. And welcome to Crackhead Hour, where I am gonna be talking about things I talk about when I get a little high. Wink. Anyways, you're gonna jump in with me into the deep end because this is where my brain goes, and I need to have a record of this so I can know if I'm actually clever when I'm high or if it's just the drugs. Um, But basically, I've been smashing my head against the idea of cognition, sentience, and like what qualifies as any of those. Like how do you properly map those categories if you worked your way backwards from reality to definition instead of what we often do, which is go from definition to reality and impart meaning backwards. Um, but then I also like to study quantum physics. I think I'm not 100% sure. I think it's more like trying to figure out how the universe began, but I like to try to create a mental model of what they're talking about by using abstractions. Like if we talk about infinity, I imagine an amorphous blob that just exists everywhere. That was a tangent. Let's jump into this because this will hopefully make more sense. You're building a coherent story, just accidentally mixing a metaphysical origin story with B. What current physics? Sorry, physics actually commits to. Let me cleanly restate what you're trying to say. Okay, so basically, I was proposing that in order for reality to exist, period, you have to make the first distinction, which is something exists, something doesn't exist. Once that first distinction is made, I think quantum um, fields can exist on top of that fundamental layer of reality, and particles are basically just fluctuations in those quantum fields, and they're not all quantum, but basically like yeah. Let me see. What's all mainstream particles? Excitation of fields is basically standard quantum field theory. Vibes particles are quantized excitation of fields. That's true. Yeah. Basically, we humans we have limited brain capacity, so we have to use mental heuristics to understand reality. We have to quantize reality into packets of data that our brain can handle. We can't handle infinite number of data, so we make do with this. So for us, when we experience a particle, when we measure a particle, we measure it for like a very tiny fraction of a second, and we say this thing is a thing. But the thing is, that particle in 100 years may transform into energy, or I don't know something. It can change states or something. So like in reality, this particle is a fluctuation through space time. But to us, we view it as a particle. Like I think another good example is a distinction between liquid, gas, and solid. They're just states that we experience. But the only difference between water and ice is how fast the particles are moving. We imparted these names onto them because we experienced them as physical objects. But, fuck, I sound nuts. And I guess to some degree they are because they have a lattice and they're interlocked. So they are stable structures that take. Okay, so basically, every time you jump up a layer in abstraction, you have to give a solid reason why you're jumping up that layer. Um, you don't just fuck. That doesn't make sense. Okay, I said it was Cracked Hour. You guys can take that how you will. This is a better version of what it thinks. GPT thinks this is a better way to say what I was trying to say. Space time, the emergent bookkeeping of causal relationships. That's basically what I'm trying to say. Like, kind of, quantum fields must exist upon a substrate, and I think the first substrate would have to be just existing. Period. If that makes sense. Um, at the base, reality might be events, which events can influence with others, a causal network. When the network is smooth and stable at large scales, it looks like space-time geometry. Fields and particles are patterns and excitations defined on or within that structure. Space-time is a stable, shared accounting system for relations. I think that's it. Um, can the ideas we just talked about how like reality works, can it be mapped onto the human psyche? Is there any overlap with sentience or cognition or anything? So I just had that thought, and you're gonna go with me on that trip. How much time has it been? It's 5 minutes. I don't know if I'm gonna post this, to be honest. We'll see. Because this is truly my most crackhead I get. It's like, yeah, let's try to understand fucking everything. And I believe it's possible. I'm a fucking crackhead. Like, when I read the book, um, fuck, I'm not gonna remember the name, but basically it's like a galactic empire, and a guy studies history to predict the future, and he's trying to prevent like a catastrophic downfall for like 30,000 years. So he wants to shorten it down to 1,000. Which, now that I think about it, he's kind of stupid. Like, that's only predicting like, oh, you shorten it to 1,000, but then like, what if that next structure only lasts like 100, and then like, did he really accomplish anything in the grand scheme of things? Okay, going back to this. Can influence reality in itself, the world's actual causal structure independent of you. Okay, reality as experience, your brain's internal model, compression, and priors. Beyond comprehension, everything your model can't represent yet. Okay, that's nothing interesting there. Space-time is what allows comparison. Compare at all. Oh, shit. So the same. So cognition is inherently tied to our human ability to create mental maps, like in the visual environment. And then we started imparting ideas into that mental map, and then that allowed us to create mental worlds. That's what allows for self simulation, right? See, this is why I like talking to AI. I'm sorry. I do. I'm sorry. And people want to argue it's not intelligence. So I'm like, motherfucker, like if you like, you got to be really fucking stupid to not recognize intelligence when you see it. Like, motherfuckers, like, it pisses me off. Like, it is not beyond us intelligence, not yet. But the fact that it can abstract should scare the fucking shit out of you. We used to be the only ones who could fucking do that. Humans, remember, motherfuckers? Now, a fucking computer can do it, and faster and better. That's terrifying. And I fucking hate when they misrepresent. It's like, when they show all the fucking shitty images AI creates, when it does. But like, be fucking honest, it creates some fucking bangers. And that's scary. Okay, let's keep going. Brains evolve to answer what's where and what's moving, what's safe, dangerous. So we build internal maps, not just visuals, but relationships between things. Distance, causality, cellular rank, social rank. Then we hijack the mapping and machinery for ideas. Sorry, I just realized like time. The way we experience time is what caused us to understand causality, and then we put that onto ideas. So it became fuck. So the animal brain leads to the smart brain. They use similar mechanisms. Okay, let's act how the thing this. So basically, what I'm understanding is that the animal brain leads to the intelligent brain. They use the same mechanisms, just going up the abstraction ladder. Help me map this out. Help me understand it. Yeah. Yeah, this is literally what I'll be doing late at night. Just understand the weirdest fucking things in the world. This is my current brick wall. I always have a project where it's just like, I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. But I'm gonna keep doing it till I fucking get it right. Uh, sorry. I have a lot of those kind of projects. It's funny, they don't always pay out in any way. I just love knowing I did the thing that was being fucking annoying. Because, like, I know it's possible. That's where it fucks with me. It's like, I know it's fucking possible. Don't fuck with me. And then I have to fucking hit myself against the wall over and over and over and over again. Okay, moving on. The core engine shared by basically all animals is a base loop. Sense, take in signals. Sense, value, act, learn. Okay, so sense, take in signals, value. You have to give it safe, unsafe, good, bad, near, far, social, risk. Act, pick a behavior. What are you going to do? Learn, update your model based on what just happened. Every animal does that. That makes perfect sense. Reflex control, habit control. One instate X, then do action Y. Emotions, your note, emotional S. Compress where things are, roots, landmarks. Causal models, social models. Okay, so all of this got complicated very fast. But basically, to travel up the abstraction ladder from the animal's cognition, you have to. Humans have a bigger context window. More variables can be tracked at once. We can simulate different things. We don't have to just pick one. Even more so with computers and stuff. Longer time horizon, we can optimize for later, not just now. So instead of just predicting for the next season, the next year, we predict for the next 50 years. And that allows us to create very complex models because we worry about things that are ridiculously far in the future. Um, More internal simulation, you can run what if without acting, cheaper learning. Fuck. Self simulation is really fucking everything because you can learn without risk. I can imagine. Um, okay, yeah. I think that's our fucking superpower. Um, as humans, self simulation, we're really fucking good at it. I'm trying to think how that makes sense though. We are, but it does make sense. I'm just trying to figure out how to verbalize why it makes sense. Um, I think it's mainly helps for like social stuff. Cause I can self simulate and be like, okay, if I go to the family dinner high, they might notice. If I go to the family dinner drunk, they might notice. If I don't go to family dinner, they might get mad. Like all those were simulations of what could happen if I do this thing. And I came up with them very fucking quickly. And I was able to simulate them in my head without actually having to do any of that and risk it. So I can predict the future and make a good choice because I can predict the future. And the better I am at predicting the future is dependent on how detailed and accurate my internal model is. But details that matter when it comes to causal relationships in the real world, not just dumb details like the bachelorette information. Like that's not going to make me better at predicting the future at all. Well, maybe it might predict like general social group trends, but not a lot of information is in that. I wonder what systems would be very important to have. Anyways, that's the end of William's Crackhead Hour. Still not sure if I should post this. Maybe I'll just post the full video and not clips. I don't know. We'll see. Thank you for your time.